Love is but a song we sing, and fear's the way we die. And you can make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing, and you need not know why. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Some may come and some may go, and we will surely pass. When the one who left us here returns to us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Together, try to love one another right now. If you hear the song I sing, you will understand.
Listen.
You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. And one key unlocks them both, it's there at your command. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Huh. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Right now, right now.
Pierre Gautreau and the band. Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everyone this morning? Yes, you are excellent. You are great. You are spectacular. It's so such a pleasure to have you here this morning on this beautiful, beautiful Easter Sunday. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Toronto. My name is Jonathan Zenz. I'm the spiritual director here, and here we are to celebrate and have a good time, which is all I'm ever looking to do, is have a good time in my life. So I've got a couple of things I want to let you know about. Tomorrow, okay, everybody was handed a postcard as you came in today announcing the beginning of Mental Muscle and CPR tomorrow. So there is still room in both programs if you would like to register and take Mental Muscle and or CPR. I'm going to vote for Mental Muscle. because that's the course that I'm teaching online. CPR is a great course being taught by Reverend James Mellon, but I am looking, if you want to take mental muscle, please go and sign up today because there's some pre-training that has to go out that I have to get out in email form to you today. So please avail yourself of that. Mental Muscle is a great program, 16 weeks of life transformation. We step firmly into a place of really getting to the core understanding of what's happening in our belief system. And as we do this, we get to change the things that are no longer working for us, and Mental Muscle provides tools for making that transformation and thereby making your life a better life. So I encourage you all to take a look at that. All the information is on that postcard. If you did not get a postcard, there are more postcards up at the front. Also, Tuesday, we continue Exploring Roots. That's the course that is being taught on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Exploring Roots is basically the philosophies and the teachers who preceded Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of this philosophy. And it's basically everything that influenced him so that he came to an understanding of what this philosophy is, and that's what we teach here. So it's looking back at our history, and it's really fascinating. And so I will cop to it. Last week, I talked about Emma Curtis Hopkins. I said, but I'm going to talk about her in my talk, right? And then I never once brought her up in my talk. I actually have her in my notes for this week, so I will be talking about Emma Curtis Hopkins this week. But that's who we're studying right now in Exploring Roots is Emma Curtis Hopkins, who is known as the teacher of teachers. She taught Ernest Holmes. She taught Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, who started the Unity Church. She taught Nona Brooks and Melinda Kramer, who started Divine Science. She is very well steeped in the philosophy of New Thought, and she is the forerunner of many branches of New Thought. So that's who we're studying right now. On Wednesday, we're starting a brand new class, The Essential Ernest Holmes. It is based on this book, The Essential Ernest Holmes. Good title, huh? Calling the class the same name as the book, The Essential Ernest Holmes. This is Beyond the Science of Mind textbook, which is the main. I'm going to lose this. The Science of Mind is the main textbook we use, which was written by Ernest Holmes. This is collected writings of his beyond this book, and I'm very excited to teach this because I've never taught this, nor have I ever taken this course. So it's going to be brand new to me. So we all get to learn it together, which is always the best, I think. On April 7th, that's a week from today, we have our next Board of Trustees meeting. As members of this center, you are welcome to observe the Board of Trustees meeting, and it's happening right after the service, probably around 1 o'clock right here at the center. So you're welcome to join us for that. Sunday, April 21st, Nick Michelli. Nick Michelli! Woohoo! He has recorded a storytelling CD, and he is doing his CD release right here at the center and has offered to do it as a fundraiser for the center. So you can buy your tickets online at our website, csltoronto.com. I encourage you to go do that. If you want to buy a CD in advance, it'll cost you less, and you can purchase the CD and then pick it up at the CD release concert. That's also available online. All the information is right at our website. And he's got a musical guest lined up called Donkey. See, I told you I would remember. Called Donkey, and so I'm very excited about that. That's Sunday, April 21st, right here. Also, June 9th, the 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity workshop is being led by Edwene Gaines, who is a prosperity guru. This is something you will not want to miss. I guarantee you. I have sat with Edwene Gaines several times now, and she has changed my life in terms of what prosperity means to me and how prosperity expresses itself in my life. So I encourage you all to be here. It is on a love offering basis. So really, show up. Bring your friends. She will also be our guest speaker in service that Sunday as well, June 9th. Who's here for the first time? Hello. Hello, hello. Pleasure to have you here. I just wanted to acknowledge and say hello to you because we typically have new people who show up on Easter, right? Because Easter, it's one of those holidays. But it's such a pleasure to have you here. If you'd like to sign up for our newsletter, you can do that in our bookstore. All of that information is up there. Also, we're always looking for volunteers and people who can help out in sacred service to the center. So if you are interested in that, you can speak with Margaret Ann, who is up front in the bookstore today, and she'll be more than happy to help you out with that. So, the new space is coming along, huh? Yeah. Yes. I can't tell you how excited I am for the transformation of this space and what it really means. And I'm so grateful to everybody who has helped make that a reality in our experience here at the Center for Spiritual Living. If you've not been here before, we've now taken over that very front part of the building, and it's being spruced up and cleaned up and painted, and it's just been a really incredible experience, especially that last drive this week, getting a lot of it done. So I'm grateful to everyone who's helped make that happen. But here we are on a Sunday. Here we are on Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday. And I've got a lot to say about Easter today. Yes, Easter. 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 Something's coming to me. I looked at my talk that I gave last Easter, and it's really interesting how life transforms itself in all of our experiences. If you think back to what you were doing last Easter, which was actually on April 8th, so just about, 51 weeks ago, right? What was your life like 51 weeks ago, and how have you transformed in those 51 weeks? And it's not a matter of this center having done anything to change you, because nothing will change you unless you make a decision to be changed. That's where it all starts. And that's really what I talked about last Easter, was about rising above the conditions, about rising above whatever is happening in your experience and knowing that you have the capacity to change whatever you don't like. And the way that you do that is to set your mind aright on the things that you want to experience. So that is what we're celebrating this Easter, is the continued transformation and evolution of each and every one of us into this thing called life. And that's what we're all here to do, is simply to explore and express and experience and love life. So are you on board with that with me today? Yes. Awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's start that today then by reading together the Declaration of Principles, which is on the back of your songbook. These words are written by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And as we say this together, I will remind you, as I do every week, you're making a statement about what you believe by saying, I believe such and such and such. Figure out what rings true to you as you read this. Don't read it just by rote. Don't read it just because we're saying let's all read it together. Really listen to what you're saying and really check in with yourself to determine, is this what I want? Is this what I choose to experience? And if it's something that doesn't ring true for you, just ask the question why, because I guarantee you the answer is there. So let's read this together. I believe in one living spirit, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. I believe this one manifests itself in and through all creation. I believe in the individualization of the Spirit, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. I believe that heaven is within, and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. I believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. I believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. I'm going to invite to concretize this idea a little bit more firmly into our consciousness. I'm going to invite our practitioner of the day, Helen Vallot, to the podium. Please welcome Helen.
Hello. There's so much space up here now. I feel like I should have a skirt on and twirl.
Okay.
Next time. Yeah. Have you ever seen me in a skirt? Yeah, right. Okay. So, you be quiet over there. So I'm not going to say anything about Easter, but I'm going to say a whole lot about Edwin Gaines and John Randolph Price, who wrote the Abundance Book. Because I'm kind of pumped on this book these days. I'm doing this book. So in one of my many other lives outside of here, I have many different things that I do, and they're all legal. Just so you know. Although I did have someone once, as I was standing on the corner of Church and Wellesley, think I was there to be picked up, but no. So one of the things I do is coaching, and a lot of people that come to me, a fair amount of people that come to me for coaching are entrepreneurs. And they don't really have an idea that I do spiritual stuff. They're not really interested in that. That's not anything that they have anything to do with. So me, when I'm coaching them, I know it's all spirit, it's all God. But the one thing that entrepreneurs always want to know is what? How do I make more money? So I know that God is their source. I know it's the infinite goodness of all life. But you think I'm going to say that to them in a coaching session? No. No. But what I can do is ever so gently nudge them in the direction of books. And that way I'm sort of out of the way. So I have recommended a Dwayne Gaines book a lot, and I recommend the Abundance book. And one of the reasons I recommend the Abundance book is because of who John Randolph Price is. And so for those of you who don't know who he is, let me tell you a little bit about him. He is an internationally known lecturer and best-selling author. He's a graduate of the University of Houston with a Bachelor of Science degree in radio and television, and later became Executive Vice President. I'm just going to move this down so it doesn't pop so much. Of a Chicago advertising agency and president of a Houston-based agency. And his roster of clients included, and this is why I can recommend him to entrepreneurs, Kimberly-Clark's Delsey and Kleenex Tissues, Playboy Press, McDonald's, the Houston Oilers, Combined Insurance Company of America, the U.S. Department of Energy, Italian government accordion industry, and Maytag. So he's worked with a lot of companies, so he knows business. And in 1981, he left the agency to form with his wife Jan the Cordis Foundation for Spiritual Research, which is an international nonprofit organization currently headquartered in Boeing, Texas, near San Antonio. And John is chairman of the board. Now, he and his wife Jan were also the originators of the World Healing Day that started on December 31st, 1986, with over 50 million participants. Yeah. He also has a doctorate degree from Emerson Institute. And in 2003, this is where he comes to us, he received an honorary doctorate in humane letters from the Holmes Institute. This guy is amazing. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to abundance. And I just wanted to share with you his description of money so that you can have an idea of what he's saying here. Because I think it's really, he does a great job of marrying the practical, pragmatic, grounded idea of money and what it is in spirit. So I'm going to read it to you. All right. It is defined as harvest, return payment, i.e., to bring something forth as a result of cultivation or as a return from investment. That is his definition of money. With the above understanding, let's now describe money this way. Money is my very essence, which when properly expressed returns to me in an all-sufficiency of legal tender to be used in exchange for goods and services. Now that we see that in its original form, energy, money has already been distributed equally among all souls on the planet, and an equal opportunity exists right now for every single individual to enjoy full measure of visible abundance. You are your own money. Money is you. Isn't that brilliant? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just going to grab my water here. Thank you, if there's any left.
There's a picture down
Oh, yeah. There's a picture. So, how do you harness your own energy? Through meditation, visualization, affirmation, intense love, joyful thanksgiving, and right action. So, I just have a little thing I want to share here. So, this 40-day prosperity plan, it has 10 statements of principle that you say once a day, which means you go through the list 4 times in total over 40 days. Now, if you miss a day, you have to go back and start all over again. And this little book is actually going to be available in our bookstore next week. Deja's got it on order. So one coaching client that I recommended Dwayne Gaines' book to, he started tithing. He started attending a center in his area. And this is an email he sent me a couple of weeks ago. Hey, Helen, check this out. I received a call from my property management that my tenant that I eventually had to evict for non-payment of rent wants to come in and pay his debts. This is amazing. Have a great weekend. How cool is that? Because he really got, and this is a guy who's, he's doing a lot of stuff out in real estate, and he's got a bunch of businesses going. And he got clear that his source of prosperity is not from all the stuff out there. It's by who he is and tapping into his own divine energy. And then through going through a Dwayne Gaines book, and he started to get this concept of tithing. And then these are the little miracles that start to happen. It's pretty cool. So, for our affirmation today, I have so many pages because I write it out in really big letters so I can see it. And it takes up so much paper. I think I need to do an iPad. Okay, so our affirmation this morning. The divine consciousness that I am is forever expressing its true nature of abundance. So repeat after me. The divine consciousness that I am is forever expressing its true nature of abundance. Breathe that in. You are abundance.
Mm-hmm. You are abundance. Absolutely. Thank you, Helen.
You're welcome.
So as we step into this idea, one of the things I want to make sure you understand about a Dwayne Gaines philosophy too is a lot of people hear a Dwayne Gaines and what they take away is tithing. But there's a lot more to prosperity and abundance than just tithing. There's forgiveness. There's forgiveness work that will open up prosperity to you if you step into forgiveness work. And there is setting goals. That's the other thing, in New Thought, we have a tendency sometimes to say, oh, everything's going to work out perfectly, la, la, la. But you know what? You got to set goals. You have to have a plan. So it's being very clear on what your specific plan is with the understanding that if change is required, it will change. But you got to start with a roadmap. I'm so glad that you've done this today. Because it is a very good precursor to what Edwene will teach us all when she's here on June 9th. But let's take a breath, and let's breathe into this understanding that your source does not come from the world. Your source comes from within. And so if you want to experience more prosperity, you must embody the prosperity consciousness more effectively in your life. One of the ways that we do this is by looking around and understanding that we're all equal, that every person we see is the divine spirit. And so I'm going to ask Patrick to go ahead and start to noodle. And so in honor of that, we're going to sing You Are the Face of God today, which is on page 3 of your songbooks if you'd like to sing along. It's very easy. With the understanding that we're all one thing. We're all God. We are all money. We are all love. We are all health. We are all perfection. This is who and what we are. And when we really come to a deeper understanding of that, which is all I'm ever trying to say from up here, let's come to a deeper understanding of who we are, because once we really embody that idea, our lives begin to expand and explode into limitless expressions of life. And so let's sing together, "You Are the Face of God," as we breathe into this understanding.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
And I know that today, each one of us here and each person online, each part of our beautiful community is the face of God, is this perfect, whole, complete, divine being expressing life. And that we are supported by a power and energy in the universe that is our good. It is our source, our substance, our supply. It is the infinite love that flows through each one of us. And holding this love in our hearts and seeing the beautiful soul in each and every person. I embody the qualities of beauty, grace, wisdom, compassion, forgiveness, love, joy, abundance, prosperity, and oneness. Knowing that this is the truth of who I am, the truth of who we all are. And I feel right here, right now, this power, this presence move through every cell of my body, bringing me perfect health, abundance, peace, joy, groundedness, and the knowing that God is everywhere present. And we are the face of God. And grateful for this knowing, grateful for this divine energy that is everywhere present, and grateful to be here, right now, embodying this truth with each one of you. Grateful for this beautiful center that is exploding, that is going to move out into the community to bring more love, light, joy, peace, and prosperity to those in our community. Thank you. And I release these words to the perfect law of mind, the eternal one, knowing it is all done. It is all done, and beautifully so. And together we say, and so it is.
All right, here we go.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me.
of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. And so it is. Thank you, Helen.
You're welcome.
That was awesome. I'm going to give you your water glass back. So, today is Easter. I enjoy musical theater. I am not singing something from Jesus Christ Superstar. Although I will tell you, be ready for it because I might do it next Easter. It's a date. No, this song is, I've done it a couple times in here before. It's one of my favorites. It really is one of my favorites. It's from the musical Godspell, which is about Jesus. Anyway, let's just do it. Let's just do it. So just relax right where you are and listen.
Out of the ruins and rubble, out of the smoke, out of our night of struggle, can we see a ray of hope? One pale thin ray reaching for the day we can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but we can build a city of men. We may not reach the ending, but we can start slowly but truly mending, brick by brick, heart by heart. Now, maybe now, we'll start learning how we can build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but we can build a city of men. When your trust is all but shattered, when your faith is all but killed, you can give up bitter and battered, or you can slowly start to build a beautiful city. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can build a beautiful city, not a city of angels, but finally a city of men. A city of men.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I've got a lot going on up here today. All right, so as I've mentioned a couple times, it is Easter Sunday. Once or twice. I don't know, did you know it was Easter? All right. So here's my question to you. What does Easter mean to you? And this is a rhetorical question. I'm not looking for people to raise their hand and tell me. Not now, anyway. But what does Easter mean to you? Does it mean anything? Does it mean anything? Because here's what may happen. People will have come to this philosophy with this idea that Jesus was, or that Easter, that Jesus, see, there I go. It's already in my brain, right? That Easter was about Jesus rising from the dead. And yes, that's what is basically being celebrated on Easter, the resurrection of the man Jesus. And yet I come at it from a different perspective and from a different understanding. But what got us to this point? What got us to this point? What got us to Easter? Well, last week I talked about Palm Sunday, right? Palm Sunday, and about Jesus riding triumphantly into the city of Jerusalem on a donkey, palm fronds being waved and laid out as was foretold in Zechariah, that the King of Kings would come in to Jerusalem triumphantly on a donkey. And that's, talked about all that last week. If you missed last week's talk, you can check it out online. And so that's the start of what is referred to in Christian philosophies as Holy Week. And we go through Holy Week. Now, Holy Week is a representation of a lot that happened to Jesus the man, that culminated on Good Friday when he is said to have been crucified and then laid to rest in a tomb. Even though I think he actually gets laid to rest on Saturday. Technically, that's the way it should have happened. Anyway, I don't need to get into the nitty-gritty details of that, right? So Good Friday, not so good for Jesus. And there's Jesus calling. He's saying, "Are you taking my name in vain?" So that's just the first thing that came to my mind. Is somebody in trouble? No, nobody's in trouble. Nobody's in trouble. So a lot happens to Jesus, and if you're really interested in what happens to Jesus during Holy Week, you can watch Jesus Christ Superstar, because that basically the entire story of Jesus Christ Superstar is only what happens to Jesus in Holy Week. It's not his entire ministry. So last week, ready, Tanis? So last week, Palm Sunday, Hosanna, hey, Zanna, 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 Hosanna, right? And then he gets to Thursday night Passover, and he goes into the garden and he sings Gethsemane. Take this cup away from me, for I don't want to taste its poison. When he's struggling with what is to come. When he's struggling with the understanding that there is a purpose for everything that he is experiencing. And he knows, he is very well aware. In fact, I think he knew throughout his ministry what was going to happen to him. And I think he knew that he was going to change the world. Now, we do not ascribe to a literalist interpretation of the Bible here in this center. We look at the metaphysical understanding. What are the lessons to be learned? Because Jesus taught in parables, so why would we take the Bible as anything other than really parables to learn a deeper lesson? So I do not go to the literal interpretation of the Bible. But what does Easter mean then? The resurrection. Now, last week I talked about the concept of rising above your circumstances, and that really is, to me, what the resurrection means. It means understanding that we live in a world of experience. We live in a world of circumstance. We live in a world of form where I can touch the wall, and that feels very real to me. Hello, God. The wall is God. I will remind everyone. Just like money is God, I am God, Helen is God. We're all God. The chair you're sitting in is God. There is no separate entity out there passing judgment on us. And this is what Jesus taught. Heaven is within. The Father and I are one. And it is done unto you as you believe, because the Father and I are one. That as you experience life, you are creating the circumstances and the experience of your life because it is based in your belief system. What you believe, you become. That's the basic tenet of what we teach here in the center. So we are Christian in the sense that we teach what Jesus taught. But we are also Buddhist in the sense that we teach what Buddha taught. And we are Muslim in the sense that we teach what Muhammad taught. And we are Jewish in the sense that we follow specific guidelines in life. It's very quiet. Because you're all resonating with this. I can sense it. You're all resonating with these ideas because people come here, they don't want to hear that we're a religion. They don't want to hear it. And yet, here we are on a Sunday morning talking about God and the nature of God in our lives and how we can experience more of God and how we can experience life more fully by our understanding of God in our lives as our lives. So Jesus spends this Holy Week leading up to the Passion. You know what passion means, right? People think passion is a good thing. Passion actually means suffering. So when you talk about the passion of the Christ, you're talking about the suffering of the Christ. Because he, on the Via Dolorosa, suffered a great deal, carrying that cross to be crucified. Now, do you think in all of this, Jesus was afraid? Yes? Who wouldn't be afraid, given the circumstances that Jesus, the man, was dealing with? And you'll notice I keep saying Jesus, the man, and I don't say Jesus, the Christ. Because if I set him apart as being the one and only Christ, then I negate the idea that we are all the Christ. That we are all the Christ consciousness. So I will refer to Jesus, the man, and his experience in the world of form. My guess is he was fearful. Now, Emma Curtis Hopkins, in the essay that we read a couple weeks ago in class, I came across this quote, and I thought it related very well to this concept. And she wrote, "One may say, I cannot help being afraid. I cannot help being afraid." She continues on, "Yes, you can. No one is ever tempted beyond what one is able to resist." And so Jesus the man understood the fear that he was experiencing. And yet he also knew a higher understanding, that who he was, what he represented to the world, was the transcendence above fear. He knew that he was not being tempted by anything other than what he was able to resist, what he was able to experience, what he was able to come to terms with in his own experience. Resistance. Yes, Star Trek comes to mind. Resistance is futile. Resistance is based in human ego. What are you resisting in your life? Resistance is based in human ego. Jesus, in his experience, was able to let this go, to come to a deeper understanding so that when he was crucified, and I keep talking about it, right? And it's funny, I rarely talk about the crucifixion itself. Last year I talked about the resurrection, but this year I seem to be really transfixed on the crucifixion. When he was experiencing that, he was able to let it go. What did he say on the cross? "Forgive them, they know not what they do." He understood. He came to a deeper understanding of letting go of the resistance so that he could be reborn into a greater expression of himself. Because truly, no expression of God can ever die. If we are part of the expression of God, we never die. We may shed this mortal coil. We may be done with this body at some point, but the core of our beingness never dies. Jesus came to an understanding of this. Letting go of resistance. Carl Jung writes, what you resist persists. If he held on to that resistance, he would get more of the same. What are you holding on to? What are you holding on to? I have a story about resistance. So a couple of years ago, I was at a conference, Centers for Spiritual Living conference. And it was, now not getting into the political side of things, I will very quickly help you understand. There were two organizations that were Centers for Spiritual Living. There was the United Centers for Spiritual Living and the International Centers for Spiritual Living. Several years ago, the two organizations decided to come back together. There was a split in the 50s. That's what made two organizations. They decided to come back together into one organization. A couple of years ago, at a conference in San Diego, was the event. It was when we all, as a body, as a singular body, took a vote that says, yes, we will be one organization. There was a celebration and sort of the culture of each organization. The United Centers for Spiritual Living tended to look at ritual and experience ritual a lot more, and the International Centers for Spiritual Living tended to look at the philosophy and really get into the philosophy and more of an intellectual understanding a great deal more. And so here you have the heart and the head coming back together into one organization. And the experience of that was very profound for a lot of people, and there were a lot of people who resisted it. But the majority said it's time for us to come back together and really understand who and what we are, understanding that we are one, we're not two, because we teach there is only one. The main resistance aspect of this is at the celebration, unbeknownst to the people who were previously on the international side, the united side had decided to do a ritual in celebration of this idea. And so here come, now we're all kind of in there and we're seated in our seats, and there are these two aisles that come down, and here come people carrying jugs of oil above their head. It was not unlike this, filled with oil, and they come walking down the aisle with jugs of oil. And, you know, we're looking around going, okay, don't really know what this is all about, but clearly there's some ritual happening that we were not ready for or told was going to happen. And I say us, those of us who came from the international side, the more intellectual, philosophical side. They come together at the center, and then they pour the two jugs of oil into a singular container. So you can get the symbolism of it. Here's the two organizations coming back in together as one, and you can't differentiate, right? We understand this in retrospect, but as we're sitting there experiencing it, totally unaware that it was happening, many of us started getting little heart palpitations. So like, what do they think this is? What does this mean? God is all there is. God is the source and substance of my supply, and I'm just going to stand here in my very intellectual, philosophical place. A lot of resistance there. So they fill this jug, and then they then bring up all of these practitioners who then take small bowls of the oil, and they go out and they let everyone know if they'd like to be anointed with the oil, they can come up and be anointed with the oil. How many of you come from a Catholic background? I don't. And yet I was going, oh my gosh, this feels so churchy to me. So they come, Helen, I'm going to have you come up here. So they come, and people start lining up, just like, it's almost like Ash Wednesday or communion, and people start lining up, and they put their thumb in the oil, and then they just do a nice, they don't do a cross, but they do a nice little circle. You can sit down now. So I just wanted to show that. So I sat there, and I thought, oh no. Oh, I am not doing this. No way. No way, because this doesn't feel right to me. And then there were other people who said to me later, what have we gotten ourselves into in terms of the international side? And there was one person who totally had a conniption, walked out, and we found her in the lobby later saying, I have to leave this organization. This is just not what I signed up for. Really interesting. What you resist persists. And there were people who really came to this understanding within our organization and said, you know what, if I'm sitting here in resistance to this experience, what is it in me? Not what is the experience doing to me, what is it in me that needs to change? So that I can come to a deeper understanding. And that's all we're ever teaching. And so there were people who came to this understanding and went up and had themselves anointed. I will tell you, I did not allow myself to be anointed. It took me about a week to come to that understanding. But that's also back before I was a minister. But coming into a deeper understanding of what is it within you that is resisting change. And resisting, and resisting, and resisting. And can you allow yourself to simply fall back into the arms of love and let it go? Trusting that you are always supported no matter what. And the truth is, too, if you experience it as a problem, it will be a problem. But you know the great thing about that, too, is the solution is in the problem. Because you cannot experience a problem without a solution already being made available to you, because that's the way our mind works. If you have created a problem in mind, then the solution must exist. The solution to the problem must exist. For it is only in your mind that the problem has been created. And if we believe what we teach, which is, it is done unto you as you believe. If you believe you're going to experience a problem, you will experience a problem. If you believe that you're going to experience the solution to the experience that you're having, you will experience the solution. And you don't need to know necessarily what the solution is. You simply need to fall back into the arms of love and trust. Stepping into that place of faith, of knowing that no matter what, you are provided for, you are cared for. You are the resurrection and the light, to the degree that you allow yourself to come into a deeper understanding of your divine self. That's what Easter means to me. You are the resurrection and the light. And yet we still get bombarded with things that show up in our experience and seem to block us. And that's okay when we come to the understanding that no matter what, we're the ones who created it, we're the ones who can uncreate it, or not uncreate it, but recreate it. Because you can't uncreate anything. If you have experienced it, here's the other good news. You've experienced it, it's now in the past. What do you want now, moving forward? Because you can't change the past. Too many people try, stop trying. As Bob Newhart says, stop it. What was that? Pop it. Oh, that's fun. I like that. So, take a look at what you're experiencing in your life. Take a look at what you're experiencing in your life. And here's the big question. Are you living the life you want to live? Are you living the life you want to live? And if you are not, why not? Now, here's the trick. You are not allowed to answer that question, even in your own mind, with excuses. If you are not living the life you want to live, why not? But be done with the excuses. And where does that leave you? Choice. It leaves you in the place of understanding that you are the one who is in control of your entire experience. Because excuses are simply saying the world of form is too hard. This person has an effect on me, and so I cannot move forward with my passion. Or whatever the excuses are, whatever is showing up for you as an excuse is, I guarantee you, 100% rooted in the world of form. When you begin to step out of the excuse into the understanding that you are in charge. Taking back control of your own mind and your own belief system, things will start to transform themselves in your life. So it's really all about stepping into action. It's about stepping into action in your life, but trusting that that action is rooted and grounded in your belief system and in the understanding that you are the divine, and the divine cannot be stopped in its expression of whatever it wants to express by means of you. I hear so many stories of people who hate their jobs. And I say, well, what is it you want to experience? Well, I want to experience that. And then I say to them, and it's going to sound like such a terrible answer and terrible way of putting it. And I say, well, why don't you just go do that? Why, it's like the actor. So those of you who don't know me yet, I come from an acting background. I spent 25 years in the theater. I always had a fallback plan. I always knew that I could rely on other skills that I had. And so I always had an out. So I did not have to live the life I wanted to live because I always had an out to feel more comfortable. And that was an erroneous idea. And I guarantee you, because I had the fallback plan, what do you think showed up in my life? Lots of experiences to live the fallback plan. The most successful actors I know are the ones who had no fallback plan. Because they stepped into it and they said, this is all I do. This is all I know to do. And I also then say to actors who really want to act, I say, if you really want to act, then go act. Because money should not be tied to your creative expression. Because money comes from where, Helen? Money comes from God, not your job. So all of these things that show up, the excuses, the resistance, the beliefs that are holding you back, are akin to, you ready? Because now here comes the talk title, the stone in front of the tomb. So on Easter, and I'm actually going to, so let me read this, because I'm actually reading from the Bible, the New Testament. Mark chapter 14, verses 1 through 4, and I am paraphrasing, I will also let you know. Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James. James was Jesus' brother, by the way. Did you know Jesus had a brother? Good. Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome brought spices so that they might go and anoint him. They went to the tomb, and they were saying to one another, who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance of the tomb? And looking up, saw that the stone had been rolled back. It was very large. It was a very large stone. It was a boulder. Well, they refer to it as a stone, right? It was. I mean, it's covering a tomb, right? In Matthew, Matthew also mentions the stone, does not mention Salome. But as Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, approach the tomb, there's an earthquake. And because of the earthquake, the stone rolls out of the way. In Luke, they don't mention the women by name at all. They just say, the women find the stone rolled away from the tomb. In John, it's only Mary Magdalene finds the stone rolled away, and so she runs. Oh, this is like class. But instead of going out to do your business, right? I do that in class all the time. She finds the stone rolled away, and so she runs to Simon Peter and says, Peter, the stone has been rolled away. Very interesting that in every single gospel, the concept of the stone is brought up in this portion of the story. The stones are akin to the beliefs that are holding you back. And this Easter Sunday is the understanding that we can now roll that stone away and step into a deeper understanding because the stone is no longer a barrier. That is the resurrection of the self into Christ consciousness. They went into the tomb. Did they find Jesus? No. So note that the story is not really about Jesus. It's about the experience of the people. Also very interesting to me is the fact that it's the women. In every single account, it is the women who find the tomb open. Women being that place of birth, quite frankly, and literally. Women being representations of the womb of creation. So there is much more to this story from a metaphysical understanding than just the literal interpretation which many churches are talking about today. The stone, the limitation of our belief. Once that limitation has been rolled back, we are opened up to greater expression. And that is what is meant by the divine sonship. Jesus professed we are all the experience of the divine on this plane of action. That is what Jesus taught. So step out of the way. Roll that stone away in your own experience. Roll the stone away. Let go of your fear. Let go of your doubt. Let go of your worry. Let go of your resistance. Let it all go. Let go and let God. Let the divine come through you. Let the divine express as you. Now, it's also one of the things that I have come to know about Emma Curtis Hopkins is her understanding of what is referred to as the second coming of the Messiah, the second coming of Christ, Christ being a consciousness. Now, Emma Curtis Hopkins taught that the first coming of the Christ was indeed in the person Jesus. That Jesus so lived this principle, so deeply lived this principle, that he could not help but heal people just by his very presence, because he was so steeped in belief. Don't let me forget to finish out the Emma Curtis Hopkins idea, because something has also just come to me that I actually had thought about last week that I wanted to mention, but it goes in line with this idea of faith. And it's another Bible story. Go figure, it's a Bible story. I love it. So do you know the story of Jesus walking on the water? So Jesus, the apostles are in a boat, and Jesus has said, meet me on the other side of the Sea of Galilee. And so they're all in the boat. And then they see Jesus walking on the water, the Sea of Galilee. And Jesus calls to them and says, basically, if your faith is strong enough, come to me. And basically saying, you can walk on the water too. And so Peter, his first apostle, steps out, and Peter is walking on the water. That is a place of perfect faith. But Peter became afraid. And the moment he became afraid, plunged into the water, could no longer walk on water. That's where Jesus says, O ye of little faith. Where are you in your place of faith? Do you know that each and every one of us can walk on water? It's just none of us believe it. None of us are in that place of faith. I'm not in that place of faith. But what do you have faith in? So the second coming of the Messiah, according to Emma Curtis Hopkins, is embodying this faith, is embodying this belief that there is no separation between God and the human experience, because there is no separation between God and anything, because all of it, everything is God. And so Emma Curtis Hopkins says we are experiencing the second coming of Christ already, to the degree that we rise into that Christ consciousness as a collective. As you embody this more and more, as you come to a deeper understanding of who you are. I won't even say what you are, who you are, because you are God. You are the Christ. You. A lot of people get a little weird hearing that, but it's true. There is no separation. None whatsoever. The only The only time we experience separation is when we start to believe in separation. I'm going to basically end today with an Ernest Holmes quote. Since he is the founder of our philosophy, I should probably, do some quote from him, right? He writes, "There is then no limitation outside our own ignorance. There is no limitation outside our own ignorance. And since we can all conceive of a greater good than we have so far experienced, we all have the ability to transcend previous experiences and rise triumphant above them." Really important aspect of that quote is the idea that because we can conceive of a greater good, because we can bring a greater good to mind, because we can see it in our mind's eye, we can use the imagination, we can use our intuition to experience a greater good in our own mind. When we embody that greater good, it shows up in our experience. And that is the lesson of Easter. Rising above, conceiving of a greater good, and embodying the idea so that it begins to show up more and more in our lives, and our lives evolve into greater expressions of life by means of each and every one of us. So today, if I have taught you nothing else, if I leave you with nothing else, move that rock, Mary. Because the degree to which you move that rock out of the way, the degree to which you will rise above the conditions of your life and live a better experience. And so, live that better experience. Namaste. I'm taking your popsicle stick. We can share it. Yes. So we've come to that time in the service where we do our offering. And a couple of things that I want to talk about with respect to the offering. First of all, give what is in your heart to give. And understand that I'm going to tell you what I do. I give to the place where I am spiritually nourished, because that is what is important to me. I am a tithing. I do live from a tithing perspective. It is up to each and every individual whether or not tithing works for them. But I will tell you, tithing works for me. And so 10% of whatever I make goes straight to where I receive my spiritual nourishment. And I will tell you, about 95% of it comes to this center. There are other places that I experience spiritual nourishment, and I give there as well. I also want to acknowledge everyone who is online and say hello and thank you for watching, and understand also that there's an opportunity to engage in giving online as well by clicking on the donate button. But let's read together on the back of the songbook, the Divine Givingness Statement. And again, just like we did with the Declaration of Principles, as we read this together, check in with yourself. You're making statements again. Are these statements rolling that stone into your way, or are they eliminating the stone from your experience? So let's read this together. I know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I claim an abundance of money to spare and share. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I give thanks for this good. I know that my gift today goes forward to heal and bless. I joyously contribute to the vision of this spiritual center, and know that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so if you'd like to turn to page 5 in your books, we're going to sing God is Your Source. And if you'd like to stand and stretch and dance while the baskets are going around, I encourage you to do so.
1, 2, 3. God is my source, God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my source. God is my power. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks. So I give thanks for all my blessings. For all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need.
All right. So I will invite Helen Velo to do a blessing over the offering.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, the Center for Spiritual Living, I gratefully bless this offering today, knowing that God is truly my source, truly the source for each and every one of us, and that as we receive, we can also give, and as we give, we can also receive, for it is a never-ending flow, and that this money, this prosperity that is gathered here today is used for the highest and best good of this center, each one of its congregants and members, and out into our community. Thank you. Thank you for this incredible gift today. I release these words to the perfect law of mind that is always, always creating, building, growing, and expanding. It is the eternal one. I let go, I let it be so, and together we say, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Helen. In this understanding of gratitude, I want to say thank you to everyone who made today's service possible. I want to thank Margaret Ann and Gail for setting up today. I want to thank our greeters, Judy and Tony. In the bookstore today, we have Nick Michelli. Don't forget his concert on the 21st of April. 21st of April. Yes, because I don't have it right in front of me. 21st of April, Nick Michelli. But thank you for your service in the bookstore today. I want to thank Gail and Linda, who are our board members on duty today. I want to thank Carmen in the sound booth. And I want to thank Tony, who is running our camera and ensuring that we do make it out to the world via our live stream. And as a reminder to you, if you're ever not here and you want to check it out, you can always go to our website and watch a live stream of our service. And if you want to watch any past services, every service that I have ever given here is online in some capacity. So you can always rewatch services if there's one that has resonated with you. I also want to thank Mahala and Chris, who are downstairs with those dynamic kids today. I think they might have done an Easter egg hunt today, so that's very exciting. I want to thank Linda Visosky. I want to thank you for providing our flowers to beautify our center. Grateful, certainly, to you for that. I want to thank Pierre Gautreau and the band. And I want to give great honor and gratitude to Helen Valo, who is our practitioner of the day. Thank you so much. And I want to thank all of you for being here today. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. So I'm grateful to you, and I am grateful for for the opportunity to get up and say whatever needs to be said by means of me and through me on any given Sunday. So let's take this last moment. Let's take this last breath. Just breathe. And whether or not you believe that what I have said today is true, whether or not you believe what I have said today resonates with you, whether or not you believe, whether or not you believe, simply relax into this understanding that regardless of what you believe, your experiences are showing up based on exactly what you do believe. Switching to this microphone now. And when you come to a clear understanding that your life is built on your beliefs, you get to start creating a greater experience of life. And so with this understanding, I resonate with the divine. I allow myself to fall back into the arms of love. And I encourage and invite you to do the same thing with me. Simply being right where you are, in that place of deep understanding. Who and what you are is powerful. Who and what you are is infinite. Who and what you are is good. Who and what you are is love, joy, peace, beauty, wisdom, harmony. Now that I know the truth, I can't go back to what I used to do. I can't pretend or ignore or go back to what I believed before. I can't live without your love. I can't live without your light. I can't live without your message. I can't live without your warmth. I can't live without your wisdom. I can't live without your message. So it is in this perfect moment that I recognize each and every expression of God in each and everything that I experience, knowing that it is good, it is harmony, it is peace, it is infinite possibility, it is infinite probability, it is infinite expression. It is omniscient and omnipresent, omniactive. It is the experience of life upon life. Life having its experience by means of each and every one of us. We are each of us living God's life as our own. And I resonate with this idea more deeply right here in this moment. Knowing, believing, trusting, allowing myself to fall back into that greater expression of the divine, and encouraging and inviting every single person here to do exactly the same. Recognizing that in doing so, we each of us rise above our circumstances. We each of us roll that rock away and face the good that is behind that stone, knowing that it expresses in our lives more profoundly, more deeply, more resolutely, more infinitely in every moment. I trust and know that this is the truth, and this is how life is experienced by means of each and every one of us. And so I step into that. I step into the expression of life. I step into the expression of love, and I step into the expression of joy. And I breathe into this, knowing that this is the truth. God is all there is. That's it. And so I step into a deeper embodiment of the divine by means of me. And know that every single person here, to the degree that they believe it, does exactly the same thing. And so in gratitude for all that has been, all that is to be, and all that is right now, in gratitude for this understanding, in gratitude for this teaching, in gratitude for everything that has conspired to make this moment the perfect moment it is, in gratitude, I simply allow it to unfold. I step into the arms of love, relaxing, releasing this word to a perfectly corresponding law, and trusting that my word spoken is demonstrated perfectly. And so I allow the demonstration. I allow it without any attachment to outcome, knowing that the outcome is assured and perfect. I let this be the truth. I let this be so. I know it is so, as together we say, and so it is. Now that I know I'm God, I can't hide behind this old facade. I can't lie to myself or know that I'm not perfect health. I can't live without your love. I can't live without your light. I can't live without your message. I can't live without your warmth. I can't live without your wisdom. I can't live without your message. I can't live without your message. Now that I know the truth, I can't go back to what I used to do. I invite you all to breathe. And let's stand up and let's kick this into the street. Let's celebrate this final moment with, on page 8 of your songbook, I Release, and stand and dance and sing and be in joy.
You know what? There was a time in my life.
Tell us about it.
Thought I'd have to do it all for myself.
When was that? Because clearly you've not been listening to me.
I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient.
But it is.
Didn't know the love of God was at hand.
And it is because God is you.
But now I can
Say what?
if you're discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day,
What do you have to do?
you've gotta let it go.
Ooh, let it go.
You gotta let it all go.
Let it all go.
And this is what you got
Here we
to
go.
say.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let my Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide.
Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Have a great day.
Have a great week, everyone. Happy Easter.